Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Andre, and in this video, I want to explain the difference between delayed gratification and instant gratification and how you can actually use this to your advantage to make it so that your business is pretty much impossible to fail in the long run, right? And I'm going to explain this in two different scenarios. So one is actually a study that was done on children, and it tracked them throughout their years growing up. And then another is a real world situation where it happened, right? And the first is called the marshmallow experiment. So this is an experiment done on children, and they asked them one question, right? So they asked them, would you rather have one marshmallow right now, or would you rather wait an extended amount of time to have that marshmallow? And then instead of having just one, you can have two. And they found that the children that picked two marshmallows instead of just one and ended up waiting to get the second one, were actually way more successful in not just business, but also financially, relationships, fitness, health, and all that stuff in the long run. Whereas the people that wanted that instant gratification, that first marshmallow without waiting, weren't so successful in the long run. Now, the second real world example is with a company called Valeant. And this was a company, it's a pharmaceutical company. And actually, a guy took it over. His name is Michael Pearson in 2008. And he was a consultant for other big pharma brands, big pharma companies before he became the CEO. And Michael Pearson, he was really focused on the numbers, right? He was all about cutting costs, cutting research and development, cutting everything he could, and buying up a bunch of different companies. And then when he bought up the companies, he would instantly raise the price on all these different products. And the main problem with this, it wasn't the fact that he was buying up companies and raising the prices, but it was mainly because he took his efforts and his focus off the actual products and cutting research and development. So he ended up in the short term being extremely successful by doing this. He actually raised $40 billion, or the company was worth $40 billion at one point. But then shortly after, he started in 2008. And then in 2016, they ended up going under and actually were negative $40 billion because of that short-term gratification, raising the prices with everything, cutting research and development. And then in the long run, the companies that didn't cut the research and development, they actually ended up coming up with brand new products, and they were really easy to beat, right? And so this is a real life problem that a lot of businesses have, is not focusing on the second, third, fourth, and fifth order consequences. They're only focused on that short term, that first order consequence, right? And that's exactly what we're going to cover in this video, how you can make it pretty much impossible to fail when you're focused on the second, third, and fourth order consequences. So we're going to get right into it. So this is a graph that I made, and it pretty much shows you just a generic example of success and non-success, right? So what separates the successful people, the successful business owners, than the non-successful business owners? And it just comes down to thinking about the long-term success, right? That's really all it is. So success, it's going to be really hard in the short term. Normally, you might lose a bunch of money. It's going to be harder to get testimonials. It's going to be harder to gain trust. But in the long run, you're going to end up gaining a lot of money, and it's going to be 100% worth it, right? Versus the non-successful people, they think, how can I scam? How can I cut corners? How can I do everything I can in the short term to be successful? But then they don't think about the long term, where it ends up hurting their reputation and their brand, and they end up losing a lot of money because of it, just like Valeant and Michael Pearson, right? And so I made a few examples of some things that I feel like a lot of people think are daily activities that are going to help them be successful, but are really not, right? They're really the exact opposite, versus the things that everyday people do that are successful, that are more geared towards the long-term gratification, right? The delayed gratification, which is the number one thing to think of in business, right? And some of these are side hustles, saving money, posting for no reason on social medias, brand ruining businesses, and trying to do everything yourself, right? So side hustles that take you away from your main business, Those are things to avoid, because anything that takes your mind off the main thing, you're going to have less focus for it, and it's going to be harder to grow that main thing, your main business, right? Every billionaire says to not diversify, actually do just the exact opposite and put all your attention and your money towards your one thing, right? Saving money, that's a great thing to do if you are to apply it towards your business, right? But a lot of people just save money just to save money. Then inflation hits and there's pretty much no reason to save because your dollar is going down. You want to put it towards something that's going to make you a lot of money, right? So saving money is usually the wrong way to go unless, again, you're going to put it towards your business. Posting for no reason. This is something that I had a big problem with just a couple years ago. I thought I wanted to be a social media influencer, and so I posted every single day, but I didn't have the vision to what I wanted to do with it, right? I didn't know what I wanted to monetize with it. I thought I was just gonna, be sponsored by some kind of supplement company. And then when I had like 35, 40,000 followers, I realized that that wasn't the right way to go. And that wasn't the right way to monetize my audience to make, the most amount of money as possible, which is what I'm after. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are after as well, right? So when you're posting content, you want to think, what is the long-term goal for this? How can I eventually monetize my audience? And how can I actually make the most amount of money? Because I see people nowadays, they just post just to get a ton of followers and a ton of likes, either on TikTok or this and that. And they might have a ton of followers. And you realize that, or I realized that, being an influencer and seeing other people's lives and seeing, what their business is like, they actually don't make a lot of money at all, right? And so the goal is to create your own business and then monetize that. The goal is not to be sponsored by all these different sponsors and doing this and that. That actually is the wrong way to think about monetizing your audience. And I actually learned that the hard way, right? And then other things like brand ruining businesses, this is short-term success. They might make you a lot of money at first, like OnlyFans, managing OnlyFans accounts. But in the long run, it's going to hurt your reputation. It's going to cost you to lose connections. If you think about Andrew Tate, right? He's super successful right now, but, he started his business with that cam girl thing. And now he's paying big time from that by, with the FBI coming after him, and he's always going back and forth through jail. He didn't necessarily have to go through all that if he didn't start building his business with the cam girl thing, right? He would have a very different life right now if he didn't start with brand ruining businesses to build himself up. Yes, in the short term, he would not have made as much money, but in the long term, he wouldn't have his brand would be way stronger than it is now, and he could potentially be making a lot more money right now, potentially, right? And then last thing is, trying to do it yourself, trying to do everything yourself, not trying to get courses, not trying to meet new people, not trying to, gain more mentors, because I kind of like to look at it like the people that are already making a ton of money, they have the roadmap to success, right? It's like going fishing and seeing that guy that is just catching all the fish left and right, and he's in this like old beat up boat, and then everybody around him in yachts and these other nice boats, and they can't catch shit, right? And the reason is because this guy knows what the hell he's doing. He's got the map. So if you want to catch all the fish, you want to talk to this guy and see, what exactly he's doing. And in business, it's the exact same thing. You want to know how exactly you can catch the fish to be successful. And that the only way to do that is through courses, through paying for mentorships, and stuff like that, right? And some of the successful habits are going to be just the opposite of the non-successful habits, right? And all of these are about delayed gratification. So focusing on one business, right? Reinvesting into that business every single day with your time, your money, and your effort. Posting with intent on social media, not just posting for no reason. That's actually going to waste you a lot of time, but posting with intent and thinking about the long term of how you can eventually monetize this business, whether it's B2B, B2C, whatever it is, for your long-term success, right? You don't want to post on social media for no reason, right? And again, I learned that the hard way. Brand building businesses. So that's going to be things like starting an agency, starting like legit businesses, and not ones that are just like built to scam people, built for OnlyFans, stuff like that. Because in the long run, that's going to hurt you, right? And I made a chart a few videos ago about the $100,000 activities, and one of the $100,000 activities is brand building, right? Because brand building is going to make you millions and millions and millions down the line, whereas building a, OnlyFans company or something like that. I keep bringing it up because it's the first thing that comes to mind, right? Is going to make you a lot of money potentially at first, but it's going to hurt your brand in the long run. And last but not least is just learning from mentors, finding other people that are millionaires, finding other people that are in courses to connect with, and then getting that roadmap to success so you can get there as quick as possible. So I think in these past 2 years, I've actually taken like 6 different courses, 2 different courses on CRMs, 2 different courses on email marketing, a course on funnel, a course on social media posting. I've taken pretty much every single course you can imagine, but I'm in such a better position than I was even 2 years ago because of it, right? And yes, it's going to cost some money at first. I think I spent over 20 grand within the past 2 years, probably more than that on courses alone and mentorships. But now I have the skill set to make way more than that, right? And that's kind of what you want to think about. It's those long-term consequences. Now, here's a real life example of a brand ruining business and what it could potentially do to you in the long run, right? And this is what I mean by first, second, third, and fourth order consequences. So brand ruining businesses, at first you might make a lot of money being an OnlyFans manager, right? And that's the first order consequence. But then after, let's say 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, your brand is going to be ruined, right? You're going to ruin your reputation. And because of that, a third order consequence is you could be losing connections that could potentially make you even more money. And then a fourth order consequence is obviously you're losing a lot of money at the end of the day, right? So you start off making a lot, but then in the long run, it's going to hurt you, right? Whereas a brand building business is building a legit company, not trying to scam people, not trying to deceive people, right? And then at first you might lose a lot of money, right? Because you got to put more time and effort because it's a legit company, it's a legit business. But the second order consequence is you're going to gain a lot of trust from people, from the testimonials and from all the other people that you helped. You're going to build a great reputation and a great product, right? And that's the second order consequence. Third order consequence, you're going to build more connections with more business owners, with more people that are like-minded, that are just like you, that want to be, multimillionaires and billionaires. And the fourth order consequence is you're going to end up actually making a lot more money because of it, right? And that's pretty much the whole essence of this video, is how you can focus more on delayed gratification instead of instant gratification to make the most amount of money as humanly possible, and to make it so that you're pretty much, it's pretty much inevitable that you're going to succeed. And it's impossible that you can actually fail when focusing on these long-term consequences, right? The third, fourth, fifth order consequence. So if you found this video helpful, go ahead and like, subscribe, do all of that stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video.